Okay. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. We have a chat box window, apparently. I don't know how this works. This is all new to me. Since in the 90s, when all this stuff was being developed, I was mostly going back and forth from India to Australia in the caves. So let's see how it sounds. Someone could send me a message from Australia. I just saw Eleni. Maybe you can say how it sounds. Is the mic working well? Sometimes it crackles. Okay, I see everybody coming on. All right. So I want to welcome everybody. We've had an increase of members from the last time we did satsang. We were about 45 members then, and now we're about 180 something. So there's a lot more people in different places listening. So welcome to Norway and Sweden and Denmark, Holland, Deutschland, Croatia, Czech Republic, Italia, UK, Indonesia, Bali, China, Australia, my lovely land down under that I love, USA, Canada, India, Nepal, Japan, and now Costa Rica too. Okay, so here we are. Some short announcements before we go into the satsang itself, and we'll end with a short announcements as well, okay? First of all, many of you, the reason I say why we have a lot of new members is many of you have never heard me speak or teach. I don't have books out yet. They're being written right now and going to be translated into other languages, which is great, like Dutch and Portuguese. So this is exciting. We look for those to start being finished up around the fall. So I'm quite excited about that. I've had a huge decrease in the amount of traveling I'm going to do to other places to teach in order to finish those books and take care of my health and hang out here in Costa Rica. So let me just explain for people that are new to Trikamahasiddha Yoga what our goal is. Make this explicitly clear. Our goal is to preserve, to refine, and continue the development that's been going on for 10,000 years in this tradition. Preserve and develop, refine, and to give out and to share with the world this highest quality of what we call the OPT, or oral practice tradition. As you see people using the acronym OPT all around the world now, we coined that one, right? Because it was in response to people saying that we're not real, we're not authentic. We're good guys and we teach stuff, but we don't have textbooks behind us and all that kind of thing. And I especially lead the charge in this, saying, look, we come from the oral practice tradition. We can use the textbooks. They don't contradict what we do. They certainly do not cover the length and the breadth of this incredible tradition of non-dual Tantra and Trikamahasiddha Yoga. It's an A to Z tradition. So our mission, our goal, is to teach this Mahasiddha Yoga in its most authentic way, in its most complete and comprehensive way. That's what I'm doing now. A to Z. From ignorance to enlightenment, 12-stage view, A to Z. I'm in those stages. I'm going through those stages too. I'm not a stage 12 being. I'm not at the end of the road, because the end of the road, final realization, is a rainbow light body in our tradition, okay? So we're all in it together until then. Now, it's important that I tell you that what I teach was not created by me. It's not me reading textbooks and telling you things out of textbooks that I didn't directly receive from my teachers or practice myself in retreat and gain the realization of. It's very important that you know this, that what I'm teaching you is only what I learned personally from my gurus and what I practiced on myself. And then, of course, the higher stages of the view that I teach, that I am not experiencing, right? These higher stages that are so lofty when you're a Mahasiddha. These teachings I'm giving are the teachings I received from my gurus. They're not my ideas about it. This is important to know. Not that my ideas about it would be wrong or something like that. But in this type of a tradition, it's really important that your ideas are tested for a very long time before you would make them part of the tradition, make them part of the corpus, the volume, the body of the oral practice tradition, OPT, especially in our tradition, because it's very much about the scientific method of testing and getting results. So I'm teaching you what I've done, what I've experienced, what I've realized. I'm teaching you my own level of attainment. And when it goes beyond that, I'm teaching you word for word how I learned it from my teachers, because that's important to keep it like that. Otherwise, we get lost and disheveled. Okay? So that's what I teach. That's what Trika Mahasiddha Yoga is all about. So I welcome all the new members to the Facebook group and hope to see you at some trainings if this grabs you in any way, shape, or form. So in the way of general announcement too, we have upcoming trainings. I want to let you know about these before they get up so you can see them. Mark them off, say the dates if you want to come. Foundation training. So Foundations of Trika Mahasiddha Yoga is next. That's here in Costa Rica, August 12 to 18. We're taking a limited amount of people. We have 4 spots left. These trainings are more intimate. They're smaller. They happen in my own personal practice shrine room area where I'm broadcasting from now. And hopefully in 2 weeks we'll be in a new place, a new center with even much nicer shrine room area that hosts a few more people, okay? But we want to keep them small for a reason. Now, this Foundations of Trika Mahasiddha Yoga coming up in Costa Rica is August 12 to 18. The topics are Kundalini Hatha Yoga, Mahakala Astrology, 12-stage view teachings. That's the most important part of that whole training, to give you a grounding in 12-stage view, understand how to guide yourself in the absence of being with your mentor or whatever, your acharya. Practices and teachings we'll be doing daily in meditation and breathing and so forth on what we call present, presence, and real time. This is the Mahasiddha version of all this idea about mindfulness, turbocharged, basically. Really turbocharged, right into essence. And then we're going to be doing a lot about practitioner typing, getting to know yourself as a spiritual entity for now, a transient phenomena, but definitely unique. So you'll know how to adjust your practice and so on, okay? That's happening August 12 to 18. And again, I think in May in Melbourne, Australia as well. 4 spots left for the one in Costa Rica. The next practice retreat we have is November 4th to 8th in Costa Rica, Yogas of Dream, Sleep, and Death. This is an extremely important retreat. It's the one I think changes a person more than any other retreat, getting them to understand death, understand the significance of an unbroken or seamless practice in what Namkhai Norbu called the practice of day and night, right? Tibetans call it practice of day and night. So you have dream yoga, sleep yoga, how to die properly, what to do after you die and you're in the after-death states, how to get realized in the after-death states, how to take care of other people who are dying, and how to get them the highest realization possible and take them into the after-death states, right? Okay. So that's coming up November 4th to 8th. Let me take this one. Then November 25th to December 15th. November 25th to December 15th. A very important retreat. For people who are kind of going in deeper in this path, you'll really want to try to get to this one if you can. Can you turn it off? Thank you. Vajradeha. The Vajradeha Ayurveda retreat. Vajradeha means the immutable body. And it's a play on words because Vajra means immutable, now associated with lightning bolts, but it means immutable. Deha refers to the body, but uses a word that's root. The Sanskrit root means kind of like refuse, throwaway, or garbage. So it had the immutable garbage, you know? So it's this body that's transient and sort of impure because it's in duality until we escape that experience, becoming immutable. Now, these teachings are the core of the Trika Mahasiddha Yoga tradition. This whole idea about rainbow light body, immortality, and so on. Yes, it's spiritual immortality number 1, but physical immortality is possible too. That's stage 10, rainbow light body. Now, all the way along the path, even if I don't know what a rainbow light body is and don't really care, I just want to be able to be non-emotionally reactive, I need to understand how my physical body, from a Western scientific standpoint, which I understand and I teach, but also from an Ayurvedic standpoint, from a tantric standpoint, how does my body, its energy, its 5 elements, its energy channels, nadi, the prana, life force energy, the chakra, the bindu, how does all of this work with the greater cycles of nature? How do I become one in that Taoist sense of becoming congruent with the greater cycles of nature? The Trika Mahasiddha Yoga from our ancestors is all about this congruency. They share this idea completely with Taoism, okay? It's not a transcendentalist system. So on this retreat, we're going to go to my favorite Ayurvedic doctor. I have 2 favorites. One is the master, one's a student of that master. So here I'll give my respects to my other dear friend, Ashwin Shastri, who's a great Ayurvedic doctor. Dr. Ravi was his master teacher, and Dr. Ravi is amazing. And he's helping me a lot and has helped me. I've been seeing him for 15 years or so or more. We're disconnected. Hi. Trying to reconnect.
That happens.
Hi, Tim.
That happens on live things.
This happens a lot?
Yeah, it does happen on live things.
You noticed it for other people?
Yeah.
It won't happen much once we get our new place. We have the hard wire. Guys get lost? Just left late? Hard to get away today?
The brake stopped working last night, so drive down to this.
The brake stop. What's that?
Reconnected.
It doesn't say it on my screen. Zook, it doesn't say so on my screen.
It's showing the live streaming right now.
It says trying to reconnect on mine. See if you're hearing me talk without me in the hallway here.
You're streaming.
Can you hear it? Why is it doing this? You gotta refresh it or something.
It's just I'll come up if it's not working, but.
Eleni said yes, whatever that was too. Let's see. Working fine. Okay, back on. Sorry guys. My screen says trying to reconnect and it has me all shaded out. Okay. Looks like I'm in the bar though. So we're going to do, you're going to get treatment. Anybody who comes on the Vajradeha retreat will get treatment with Dr. Ravi, diagnosis with him, which is most crucial. Advice about how to maximize your prana and so forth, and your dhatus and doshas and so forth, so that we can use those in our esoteric practices to go much higher. We are an alchemical tradition. We don't believe in just white bindi realization, mental realization. We want it all, right? Like the Queen said, we want it all. So you'll get treatment from Dr. Ravi, my dear friend. He's the master, no doubt the master. You'll get esoteric anatomy and physiology lectures from me each day, especially about our relationship, how that all relates to our physical health cultivation, our spiritual practice, and congruency with the greater cycles of nature, which is so crucial. We cannot have full realization without full congruency with the greater cycles of nature. And here, I mean, it starts with, planting your veggies, but then it goes beyond that too, okay? When you want to learn more about these, you write to trikapath@gmail.com, because I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of messenger messages, and I'm the worst, guys. I'm the worst to write to because I have a lot, and I'm trying to write my books, and I don't like being on the internet that much anyway. So really, the proper channel is to write to Trikapath, TRKAPATH, trikapath@gmail.com, to ask more about the retreats, to register, and so on. Shivanandani will handle that, okay, for you. Announcement about the new center in process. We have had a offer accepted, and we've gone to a sales and purchase agreement on a new place, which will make all of this work in Costa Rica so much easier, so wonderful. So keep fingers crossed and send your prayers. Let me see if we're still working fine. Everybody's telling me it's working fine. Okay, cool. So we're still there. So don't send questions through yet, okay? Because I can't watch them. It's nice that you guys are saying so beautiful things. I love it. It's lovely to see you too, and I haven't seen some of you for so long. This IT stuff is wild. Like I said, in the 90s, I was in caves in India. I missed this whole thing. Came back and there was email. Whoa, there's email. What is that? Oh my gosh, there's so many people. Okay, so I can't scroll through those now. So we have a new center in process. So starting in 2020, using the new center, when we're back from the Ayurveda retreat, the Vajradeha retreat, we're going to have a training here in Costa Rica every 4 to 6 weeks. It'll be from 4 days long to 2 weeks. Usually the average will be 5 to 7 days. Every 4 to 6 weeks. We'll be running foundation trainings constantly, but we'll also be doing the trainings that don't need any prerequisites, because I think that's important. Like later this year, the yogas of dream, sleep, and death. That's really important for everybody to have, regardless of whether you're studying in this school or another school. Everybody should have that, so we make it open. Okay, now the trainings will take place in our sadhana shrine room. It's kind of an intimate thing. It's limited numbers. That's how we want to keep it for now. And then a self-contained unit in what we're buying is on the first floor, and that's available to rent for the students who want to come for a longer one-to-one instruction retreat with support from me daily and instructions, and I check in with you. This is what I used to do with my teachers too. I'd stay in my room or my hut, and they would come and talk to me and, tell me how I was doing, make sure I wasn't losing my mind, give me more instructions. Yeah. So we're making that available. We think that is very, very important in the oral practice tradition, okay? It's super important. The next satsangs, they're going to be every month, and the next one is June 30th, and the one after that's August 4th. Next one, June 30, next one, August 4th. With a little bit of a gap in there, like 5 weeks or something instead of 4, because I'll be in the States, taking my kids back for a while to do some stuff in the States. What's the structure of these satsangs? And we'll get on to our topics, okay? So don't run away. Structure of the satsang is going to be an hour and a half. These will be an hour and a half, and I'll answer whatever I can of what you sent in. Got overwhelmed with questions, tons of good questions, impossible to answer, but please do keep them coming in volume, because what you've done is given me much more material to put onto live video classes. And my personal vow is to get a live video class up each week on one of these questions, because there's no way I'm going to be able to cover them. And that's going to be great. That'll be really nice for us. We'll put them up on YouTube and people can find out about the tradition, which is great. So an hour and a half will be answering things that come in. Then a half hour will be dedicated to follow-up questions, but please listen to me. Keep it on what we were discussing today, not on what you didn't get answered that you wrote in about or what popped up in your head that's new. Keep it on clarifying and going deeper into what we got. I want this to be a real training session. Like you're sitting there with Dino Khyentse or Abhinav Gupta or whoever you think are great masters. Just make believe I'm one of those great masters. Make believe I have their great attainment. I want us to go deep and really try to dive into these things, okay? Don't worry, I won't snow you. If I ever don't know something, I say, I don't know. Now, yeah, I'll also, let's see, yeah, so we're putting those classes up online after that we couldn't cover, on the questions we couldn't cover. So you can send in your questions to the private messenger inbox of Trikamasiddha Yoga Facebook page, as well as to that email address that we gave for signups for retreats. But I think Shivanandi would prefer to have these sent in to the private messenger inbox of Trikamasiddha Yoga, okay?
20 minutes.
Thanks. Okay, good. So there we go. Done with that. That's my public announcement. Now, let's get down to the real thing. Why we were born. Okay, here we go. So welcome again to everybody if you just tuned in, and the locals, local tribes. Out in the jungle here. Okay, what I want you to do is going to be recorded this satsang. Now some of this material, I know some of you guys are newbies. You've written to me saying, I'm all new and I love this. I get the vibe. You're teaching New York style Tantra or something. Yeah, you called that, I guess. But it's a Trikamasiddha Yoga. And I know it's new to some of you, some of your old hat. If it's new, go back and listen to it again. This is what I used to do. I would record my teachers whenever possible. I would listen to it over and over and over and over. And I would do it every day. Every time I was doing something that didn't need my mind on fully on what I was doing, I'd be listening to teaching in the background. I recommend you do that. Because we're not going to have a lot of time. We have now an hour and 10 minutes left to do the questions before we open up to question and answer to go deeper. And I'm going to have to go, kind of light on these topics and hit the main points. Each main point could be a chapter in a book, easily. So let's dive right in here. First questions I want to cover came from Susie Darren, or Sumanasa. Susie Darren is a fantastic psychotherapist if you don't know her already. And if you need one, and in your foundation work you need a psychotherapist, because I am totally for it. In stages 1, 2, and 3, we need psychotherapy for sure if we have problems that we can't clear. It's not up to the spiritual work to give us psychological wholeness, actually. Spiritual work is meant and intended for people who already feel a deep sense of psychological wholeness and they feel, suffering spiritually from this illness, right? Doesn't mean there's no spiritual emotions anymore. So if you need that kind of psychotherapeutic health, great, passive issues. Integrate some issues. Digest. I highly recommend you talk to Susan Darren. She's on the Trikamasiddha Yoga member list. I think you've heard of her or something. So shout out to her. She's in New York with her practice. And we'll be doing retreats soon.
Stop for